But you've disappeared.
Recording. I've disappeared.
Yeah.
You've flown away.
Yeah, the screen is blank for you now.
Okay, let's.
It's cloud.
That's not looking good.
There
Back again.
Okay, so knees. Knees are. If you swing your knee, it only wants to go forward and backwards. Right? It's a hinge joint. It's just like a hinge on a door. It only really wants to move in that direction. What tends to happen when we throw? Can you hear me, Fiona?
I can't see anything. I can only see me.
Okay, try the gallery view or the speaker view. Try the gallery view.
Oh, I saw you a moment. Flashed in and out of view then. I don't know.
Can everyone else see me?
Yes,
Yeah.
I on you.
Have you got us on mute?
You're enormous.
Okay.
Have you got us on mute?
Not yet, no.
I think that might be the problem.
Okay, let me put you.
But I've got the wheel
That's
of
me on mute.
got a wheel of death.
Let me put everybody on mute. Mute all. Can you thumbs up if you can hear me? Fiona, can you see me? Yeah, good. Okay, let's get going. So knees. Knees are only going to bend in one direction. If I move my hips to and fro and my thigh is tight or held, it's going to pull my knee in. So when my hips move, my knee gets pulled in, and you can see the angle. I'm exaggerating it a little bit. The angle between the thigh, it's rolled in, and my weight now is on the inside of this foot. I'll go back a little bit so you can see my feet. What I don't want, this is what I don't want to do. I don't want to move so that my knee moves inwards with my hip. What I want to do is move in such a way that my knee stays in place, my hips open. If the hip joint isn't changing and the hip joint is locked or held, it'll pull the knee with it. I roll onto the inside edge of the foot. My angle is split. It should be that the angle of the knee always goes in the direction of the foot. That's the first thing in terms of loading the knees. And if the angle of the knee goes in the direction of the foot, you can't really do any harm to your knees, and it's actually good for the body to load the body's weight onto the legs to build the bones and that type of thing, bone loading. From the side, in Tai Chi, the knees really only want to be about at the beginning of the toes. They don't really want to, they certainly don't want to go any further than the edge of the toes, and they definitely don't want to come further forward than the toes. They don't need to. You don't need to get down that low. So when we do this exercise here and I release the body, you can see my knees, they don't move very much, because what I'm doing is I'm changing the tone of my muscle in my legs. I'm not giving myself the message to move to a lower position. That's just like there's a bar and I'm just going down underneath the bar. That just drops my body in position. What I want to try and do is soften the muscles and let gravity press me into the right position. So this is all about feeling your muscles, feeling how we hold ourselves, how the erector muscles hold us off the ground, and on the inside, having that image of the body like a glass container and water droplets just melting down the inside of that container. So rather than moving the whole container into a lower position, which would be bending the knees and just moving the body down, I want to soften on the inside and let it trickle. And this quality of trickling on the inside feels very different and is something we're trying to find in the exercises. So what can I say? your ability to feel that, to feel what the muscles are doing, how they change and how they support the body, isn't something you're going to find in one go. Or it won't become a habit to work in that way in one go. It takes time, it takes repetition, it takes looking at it, it takes feeling it and working out how to move differently, how to get rid of the habit of holding ourselves and how to soften into it. And with it, the knees shouldn't bend any more than that. And if you look straight down, vertical down, the knee is in line with the beginning of the toes. That's as low as I need to get. Yeah.
So, can you just alter the angle of the video so that we can't see your feet. It's just a little bit too high.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'm just trying. How's that?
I don't know till you get back.
How's that?
Perfect, perfect. I'll mute myself again. Perfect.
Right, thank you. Thank you for helping. You can see, now you can see my feet. When I bend my knee, in this position, when I release, my knees change. They change because the weight of the body is pressing into the softening leg. It's just like sitting on the skin of a beach ball. When you push into a beach ball, the push is the weight of the body. The skin of the beach ball turns into a stretch and pushes into a different position. The legs are like the skin of a beach ball. When the weight of the body is dropped into the beach ball, it pushes the knee into the right position. Now, the beach ball doesn't change of its own accord. Beach ball changes because you push into it. The legs don't change of their own accord. The legs melt, and the weight of the body that's sitting on top of the legs does the work. This is the trick really in Tai Chi, to encourage our muscles to change, blend with gravity, and then we get that grounding feeling, that sensation of connecting and feeling stable, which is what we're looking for. So let's start the class by, let's just have a few open and closes for the chest. Again, I'll start with the knees lightly bent, in line with the toes. A nice feeling of roundness in the legs, so the knees aren't inwards. This breaks the angle, so the knees open. So the knees in the direction of the feet, nice and round through the thighs, so I can relax into the legs. I just drop the head, pull up the pubic bone. So the pubic bone lifts, the hips tilt lightly, the back is nice and arched. Drop the weight of the head, drop the weight of the arms. Breathe in. Feel the lungs open, follow the movement. Let the arms drop behind you, open the chest, drop the head lightly behind and feel the whole chest stretch open vertically and horizontally. Wait for the out breath, feel the lungs soften and change, follow it with the movement. Drop the head, drop the arms, pick up the pelvis, pick up the tail, the pubic bone, let the pubic bone lift by tilting the hips. Bottom of the out breath, lift. You can activate the legs very lightly, push up with the legs, push up the center of the chest, let the arms drop behind you, let the head drop behind you, breathe in, wait for the out breath, and breathe out. Follow your own breathing pattern. Don't wait for me to close or open, just follow your own pattern. Wait for the breath. Feel the first instance in the chest and the torso, opening with the breath, and then follow it with the movement. Right to the top of the in-breath, wait for the out-breath in your own time. Feel the chest soften. Feel that ball of the lungs release with the out-breath and follow it in. One more time, wait for the in-breath. Activate the legs a little bit to lift up and open. And release. with the hands by the sides, the middle finger on the crease of the trousers, the chest lifted up, the back of the head long. First we fold. Now if you look at this from the side, the knees don't really go very far. What's happening is the knee stays in place. The folding is like you're sitting down. It's not that you're pushing the knees forwards. It's not like you're going into a skiing position. The knees are actually staying still and my bum is going down. My hips are folding. So it's more like you're sitting down in a chair than pushing your knees forwards. That's the fold. You don't have to go down very far. You should feel stable and relaxed. And then you use the legs, you activate the legs. And if you see, my knees are almost staying in the same position because now I'm just doing the opposite of sitting down. Feel the stretch. Breathe out, release. I'm not looking for the knees to bend in the release. I'm just looking for the muscles inside the body to soften. Once the hands come down and all the muscles have finished, then I fold. Then I lift. Breathe in. Feel the stretch. Release. Remember, it's a release, not a movement into a lower position. And everything changes when the thumbs touch. Fold, hips and knees. And just look down and make sure your knees haven't collapsed in. Look down, make sure your knees haven't come too far forward. Look down and make sure you're not arching your back. You're keeping your back fairly straight coming down. But the only things that are changing are the knees and the hip joint, not leaning forwards. Then use the legs to push the fingertips up and keep pushing up the whole time, breathing in. And as you're pushing up, lift the chest and lift the back of the neck. Remember that lifting the back of the neck is the same thing as dropping the chin. So you're actually rotating the head very lightly to pluck up the crown. Then release. Everything finishing together. And remember what we're listening for in that is a feeling of water melting on the inside of the body or sand running down the inside of a big egg timer, filling the legs and finding that position of being settled, where if a wind would flow through the room, the body would sway in the wind. So the body is held very gently. We're not in a strong, we're strong in a different way. We're strong because we're resting. We're resting on the ground into ourselves and fully release the tension in our body. And the structure of the body, combined with gravity, presses us into the posture we're looking for. Someone once, just keep going with the exercise, someone once described it to me in a different style of Tai Chi. I went to a different style day training, completely different lineage, but the image they used was like a tall stack of paper cups and very loose in themselves, almost wobbly if you hold the bottom one, and yet when they're pressed into each other, there's the strength you get. Still soft paper cups, but when they're pressed into each other, you get the concertina effect of the body being pressed into itself and becoming strong. Through changing its quality, not by moving into a different position, not by moving the cups to the left or putting them on the ground, but by melting them into each other. They become strong like a concertina. And this is the quality we're looking for. And it comes from the feeling the stretch all the way from the feet to the fingertips, then the release. In the release, I'm putting myself into that very particular Tai Chi condition where all the body is loose and released, all the body is very nicely aligned, all the body is fluidly moving, and surprisingly I feel stable. So it's a bit of a conundrum because I'm at my loosest, I'm relaxed, and yet very calm and stable. Tai Chi. Tai Chi quality. We'll do it one more time. And release. Now, I keep doing this exercise every class, again and again and again, so that we get very familiar with this feeling of being upright, being released, feeling stable. And as I've said before, we can practice it anywhere. If we're standing in a queue, we don't need to put our hands above our head. We can just lift our torso, lift our head, and release. There's hardly any movement, and yet I'm working very inwardly with my structure, with my letting go. And those 5 minutes I have to wait for the cue. Actually, I'm doing my Tai Chi practice, so quite like going shopping these days. I can just stand there in the queue 2 meters from somebody. Instead of fiddling with my thumbs or getting my phone out, I can just quietly by myself work on my posture. Nobody knows I'm doing it in myself. I'm just getting a feeling of learning about what I hold on to. I'm learning about my alignment. I'm learning about parts of my body that feel awkward or tense, or we can bring a change to our bodies. So the same thing in the postures of the form. If we just take ward off left, we're going to bring our center line right in between the feet, shoulder width. I'll go back a bit so you can definitely see my feet. Shoulder width. The front foot, remember I was talking about the knee going in the direction of the toes. Here's the front knee going in the direction of the front toe. It's not coming inwards like this because that puts an angle at the knee and it rolls my foot onto the inside edge. It's out and it's going in the direction of the toes. My back leg, it's not folding in to the inside edge. It's opened out. I've got a nice arch here. This knee goes to the corner, the same direction as the back foot, which is somewhere between 1 o'clock and 1:30, whatever's comfortable for you. My front foot definitely to 12 o'clock, and the knees the same. My hips are flat. So have a look down at your hips, put your hands on your hip joints or on the pelvis, and just make sure that your hips are nice and even. Make sure that your weight isn't on one foot or the other foot, but both feet evenly, not forward or back, but both feet evenly. Your chest is lifted, your crown of the head is up, your chin is down, and then settle. Settle. And I've said before, you have to have some holding in your arm, otherwise if you're fully relaxed, your arm drops. There has to be some holding, but I want just the right amount of holding to hold the weight of my arm, not more than I need, just enough to hold my arm in a nice round, open, soft condition. If you look sideways, both arms are round. If I look at my feet, if I draw a square between the heels, I'm standing in a square. Center line of the hand is on the center line of the body. The center of the palm is at the height of the sternum. The opposite hand, one fist from the body with a thumb on the thigh, fully released. Ward off left. Ward off right is with the right foot forward. So we'll start with the feet. The front foot facing forwards, the back foot facing somewhere between 10 and 11 o'clock. Whatever's comfortable for you, so that you can put the knees facing the direction of the foot. If your foot's too wide, say this foot was out to 9:30 or 10 o'clock, I can guarantee you that if you try and bring your hips forwards and level, your knee's not going to go in the direction of your foot. So we bring the foot in so that it fits with this idea of the knee and the foot in the same alignment. My weight's in the middle, front and back, upright. Ward off right. The hand on the center line of the hand, the crease on the palm is on the center line of the body at the height of the throat. All the joints are open and round. The fingers of the left are in a straight line from the elbow to the middle finger, one span from the body, with the middle of the finger looking into the middle of the hand. Back is upright, the lower back released. The hips feel like they're seated and level. The shoulders level, the gaze straight ahead. And in that posture, you aim to release all the weight down through the body. Just hold it for 15 or 20 seconds. Ward off right. Right foot forward, right hand forward. Let's go through the form. It's a quality of organizing and waiting until we relax and the body follows our intention to relax. And that waiting is listening to the body and asking it to soften. We feel the shoulders drop as we soften all the tissue through the middle of the back, creating space for the shoulder blade to drop and the weight of the arm to drop the shoulder. We feel the lower back open as the pelvis rotates slightly. Feel the chest lift. There comes a point where we just feel very much as released as we can be. We feel as upright as we can be. We begin to feel soft and calm, and we start the form, bending both knees. Pass the weight to the right. As we move across, we turn. Turning finishes when I arrive fully over the left foot. Turn back. And put the weight into both feet. Breathe in, lift. As soon as I start to use the legs, the arms lift. Chest lifts, the arms lift. As soon as I start to release the legs, the whole body softens. The arms drop. Everything finishing together. Turn. As I turn my hips, the left toes come in. I sit back away from the right wrist. The arm stays where it was. The body moves away from it. Now the arm is long, just like train carriages. When the first train goes, the link engages, pulls the second one along. Here, this takes up the slack. So when the shoulder moves now, the hips turn, the shoulder moves, the arm is drawn along that line. As if the arm's just drawn up over something. And the left arm scoots round underneath, holding the ball. Walk forwards. Somewhere in there, there's a 50-50 posture. Look for that posture where you're upright, you're released, and you're neither in the front foot nor the back foot nor the sideways, you're in the middle. Then move on to the front foot. Look at my left heel that's come off the ground as all my weight goes onto the right foot. My left heel comes off the ground. There's no weight in the left foot. That's when I turn to the corner. Because there's no weight, I can step with the heel. Careful where you place the foot, because as you move in, you want to make sure that both feet are at 90 degrees. And when you turn the hips in, you're ending up with your basic shoulder width stance, ward off left. If you step too long, you end up with a much longer stance. It's not square anymore. If you step too narrow, you end up with the wrong stance. If you step too wide, I'm exaggerating all these just to show you end up much wider than shoulder width. So where you place your heel, where you place your left heel, gives you the next step. So here, all my weight is balanced on the right. I can pick up the left and just let the left swing out. Where it lands, generally, is about the right place. Then I move in. Feet at 90 degrees, moving into the center. Then I turn to face 12 o'clock. This is like a door closing. If you look at my hips and my right foot, look at how they move together. As I turn my hips in, my toes go with it. Drop into the posture of ward off left. Move forward onto the front foot. Turn slightly towards the left. Now all my weight is on the left. As I move on to the left, my right heel comes off. Turn to the corner. I've got the same sort of step here, but now I'm stepping with my right leg. So I have to make sure that I'm fully balanced over one leg. I don't want to be holding on to that left leg. I want my left leg to fully support my weight so that I can pick up my foot and just let it swing forwards to take a step. There's no weight that goes down into the heel. It's just a single weighted step, we call it in Tai Chi, a step with no weight in it at all. It's like you're just kissing the ground or putting your foot down on ice, just gently on ice. And then moving in. As I arrive in the center, my ball of my foot touches. I take a step with the heel, and my foot's going down, my foot's going down, my foot's going down, my foot's going down. Now the ball of the foot touches as I'm in the center. When I'm in the center, I turn the hips, and my left toes now come in, pivoting on the heel of the left. And now I'm facing the direction of 3 o'clock, ward off right. Remember this posture from before. I'm not in the left, I'm not in the right, I'm in the middle. I'm upright, hand at the height of the throat, nice round open posture, straight line from the elbow to the fingers, one span from the left elbow to the body, looking into the hand. I move forward onto the front foot. As I do, my hips turn to the corner. I stay on the front foot and square back to 3 o'clock. I sit back, dropping the left palm up onto the hip joint. My right hand stays where it is. Straight line from the elbow to the fingers. It was curved. As I sit back, it opens. Fingers on the center line of the body, at the height of the throat. One span from the body to the right elbow. Left hand, palm up, exactly on the hip joint. All the weight, 100% on the back leg, 100%. So that my line of alignment is over the foot. I'm going to turn on that alignment by turning my hips, not turning the body and not moving the arm. First turning the hips, Careful your knee isn't pulled here. Your knee stays in place. I'm doing it this way so you can see what I'm doing. When you turn here, it's the hips that fold. Your knee mustn't move over your foot or move with your hips turning, because this means your hips aren't changing. Your hips need to fold. To allow the hips to fold, both hips have to be relaxed and fluid, because if this hip is held, this one can't move. So both hips are soft, all my weight is released, and then I can turn my hips. As I turn my hips, my left hand lifts, palm up, palm down, the height of the shoulder. I'm turning to the corner, my hand is up facing the corner. It's not behind me. I don't lift my arm and stretch and tighten my shoulder. I just let my arm drop and lift. While I'm turning, my hand lifts. I don't lift my arm and then turn. I don't turn and then lift my arm. I don't nearly get to the end and then lift my arm. It's all one movement. Try and coordinate your movements so that as you turn, your arms lift. As you turn back, your arms fold in. And it folds in 1/5 from the ear, and I'm facing the same direction that I started. I'll do that again. Let's do this move a few times. I turn open and lift. I turn back and fold. The folding takes place the whole time I'm turning in. I don't turn in, then fold. I don't fold and then turn in. I don't do an independent arm movement. The classics of Tai Chi talk about the whole body being connected, so that when one part moves, everything moves, and the movement originates in the center of the body, which is the lower abdomen, center of gravity. Turn the center of gravity open, turn it back. It's like a great big ball that's turning, or a millstone that's turning and turning back. Try and make that movement really smooth so that all your weight is on the left leg. You turn and you turn back. All the time I'm stable, all the time I'm balanced, all the time I'm upright. If you're used to going to the gym, where you pull some weights and lift some things, and it's all kind of like upper body or external movements or rowing machines, it's a completely different type of move. This is really soft, this is really gentle, but all your weight is on the leg. So you'll definitely feel it in the legs. By now, doing it half a dozen times, you'll feel the tension in the body or the toning of the muscle, but you're just finding the fluidity of the body. Just that and that. It's a very small movement. That and that. That and that. You'll notice that the movement doesn't throw me out of alignment. The movement is within alignment. Turn and turn back. And shake out the legs. Let's go from the beginning of the form, because what I want you to try and feel is when you're doing the form yourself, you're listening out for these details, you're listening out for this quality, you're slowing down enough to feel these things. I don't want to have to repeat them again and again because you can play the recording, but let's go through them once together and you'll get a chance to try and remember some of those things while we do it. sinking. Stepping very light. Gliding. Finishing the move when you're over the foot and turning back. Melting through the whole body. Finishing when the thumbs touch. Turning. Sit back. Find your alignment over the left. Sink and turn. 50-50. Move on to the front foot. Alignment and turn. Very light step. Balanced. Glide in. Only when you reach the middle does the ball go down, and only then do you turn the hips in, dropping the right arm. Ward off the left. Move on to the front foot, taking the weight out of the back. Turn. Alignment over the left. Very light step. Glide in. Only when you're in the middle does the ball go down on the right foot. Only then, when you're 50-50, do you turn the hips. Posture, ward off right. Move forward onto the front foot, turn. Stay on the front foot square. Sit back. Wait until you glide until you're 100% on the back foot and your alignment's over the back foot. You've sat away from the right fingers and you've dropped the left hand to the hip joint. Then you turn. Then you turn back. Then you move forward and find the 50-50 point. Then you drop onto the front foot and press. Sit back, gliding back onto the back foot. Make sure you're 100% on the back foot. Then you glide into the 50-50. And then you drop into the front foot and push. And you glide back to the back foot, to the left foot. Only when you reach the left foot 100% and the alignment's over the left, do you turn the hips. No weight in the right foot. Turn as far as you can and bring the right toes in as far as you can. Pass the weight to the right foot, drop the left hand underneath holding the ball. Fingers touch the thumb of the right hand. Draw in the toes, step out. You have to step towards 9 o'clock, but balanced over the right. Glide in. When you're 50-50, the ball of the left touches. Turn the hips, sink into the posture of single whip. Fingers on the center line of the body. One span to the elbow. It's like our push posture here. Just like our push posture, except the hook hand, all the fingers touching the thumb out to 12 o'clock. Move forward, sinking and stabilizing onto the left. Turn. Draw in the toes, push out the heel as you relax. All the way to 100% in the left. Turn and drop the hands. Turn open, same as before, and turn the hips closed. Step with the right to the corner to 10:30, sink into 50-50 posture, relaxing the left. Hands one on top of the other on the center line of the body. One fist from the body, from the center of the chest, one fist from the groin. Center line of the body, the hands on the center line of the body, facing 10:30. Move forward onto the right foot, turning the hips and the body towards 12 o'clock. We're going to turn back towards 9 o'clock, dropping the left arm, lifting the right arm, drawing in the left ball of the foot, sinking and pushing out the ball of the foot. White crane spreads wings. Have a look at the posture from shoulder stroke The first is that you move onto the front foot and turn the hips. Look how still my knee is when I do this movement, because I'm folding my hip to move onto the front leg. I'm not turning onto the outside edge of the foot, collapsing the knee. I'm keeping this stable, and the movement is in the hip joint. Now I'm 100% here. As I turn back, the movement is in the hip joint. The knee stays in place. I drop the left and I pull up the right. Draw in the ball of the foot on the way up. As I sink, I push out the ball of the foot. It's facing the corner, it's facing 10:30. I turn towards 12 o'clock. As I turn back, now I'm facing 9 o'clock. Starts with a lift, finishes with a sink. White crane spreads wings. The posture is one span from the brow, all the way to 100% on the back foot, the right foot, the ball of the foot just touching. If I swing the leg through, it misses the heel. The thumb on the thigh, one fist from the body, same as our standing posture. One span from the body, one span from the brow. Here, body's upright. Now, when I go through the form like that, I put a lot of detail in. I wouldn't expect you to remember all the detail, but the recordings will remind you if you watch them again and again. And I'm going to unmute us and see if there's any questions with any of that, so we can see where we are and give you a chance to kind of ask anything you need to. So I'm going to, I think I might have been on unmute anyway. Can you, is everyone on mute or?
I've unmuted myself.
Yeah, okay. Good. I think everyone else is on mute. I can't get everyone off mute now. Ask all to unmute.
I've unmuted.
I can't hear everybody, but okay. You can unmute yourself. If you've got a question, you can unmute yourself. Hi Ben, I didn't see you there earlier, and hi David, I didn't.
Hi
see
Luke,
you
sorry,
there
I was
before.
late. Problems with my computer.
That's okay. Yeah, no problem. You're here now.
Luke,
Yeah.
last few minutes, your screen showing you has shrunk very small, and it says your bandwidth is low. So I don't know if you're about to disappear altogether. Has everybody else,
I hope not.
has everybody else got the message? This bandwidth is low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That must be my.
Are you plugged in? Are you battery charged?
I'm on an iPad. It should be fully charged. It's probably an internet connection thing.
Okay.
Let's
Okay,
fingers
so I was
crossed.
just
Let's
ready
hope it.
to hear. That was on.
Okay, thanks, Sue. Anything in there you'd like me to go over or you're unclear of?
Is
Okay, we're going to add a new move if you're clear with that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's add a new move in there. I'm going to put everyone back on mute. We got about 10 minutes or so. We can do that. I hope it doesn't go small again. All right. So have a look first. White crane spreads wings. I'll do it facing the direction it is in the form. And then I'll do it facing you. The next move is like a karate chop. So with the outside of the hand, I'm going to drop the hand. It's as if I'm chopping to someone's neck, and it's done through a small turn of the body. So my hand was here at the height of the brow. It's a small turn of the waist and the hand drops onto the center line. It's out to the side here. You can see it's at the side. It's going to drop onto the center line. And then I turn my waist back. My shoulder turns and it pulls my hand down. Both arms fold as I turn back. I step, brush left knee, twist step. It's quite a complicated move, so let's break it down. Have a look at it first. White crane spreads wings. All the weight is 100% on the right. Turn and chop. Looking straight ahead. Turn back. All the weight still on the right. Hands parallel behind me to the corner like two train tracks. Turn back and they both fold, both elbows fold. Take a step. Move in. As I move in, my arms turn with the body. My thumb ends up on the thigh like our normal standing posture. This hand comes in to the push position. Sinking as it comes in. So it was up here by the ear. As I'm coming in, whole body sinking and it's dropping into that position. Facing the direction of the form. One more time, have a look and then we'll do it together. One span from the body, turn and chop. Turn the hips, all the weight in the right. Turn back and fold the elbows. Take a step with the left, glide in and square, sinking into the center. Brush left knee, twist step. Let's do it together. Let's do it facing, I'll face 12 o'clock so you can watch me from behind and follow me so you can see what I'm doing from behind. All my weight's on the right leg, just the ball of the left foot just lightly touching in front. The right hand, one span from the brow. The left hand on the thigh, thumb on the thigh. We'll just do the right hand to start with. Turn. As you turn, chop. Chop. Onto the center line, to someone's neck, chop. It's the first turn, turning slightly to the corner, chop. As you turn back, drop the right hand onto your hip joint. First half of the turn is onto your hip joint. Second half of the turn is lifting it up to the height of the shoulder, similar as we've done before. And then when I turn back, it folds one fist from the ear, similar to what we've done before. So from the posture, and shake out the leg if you need to. It's quite full on the leg, standing for a long time. So from all the weight on the right leg, turn and chop, turn back, drop the right arm to the hip joint, keep turning, let it ride up to the corner behind you, turn back and fold. That's the right arm. The left arm, turn and chop, turn back. As the right arm drops, the left arm lifts, and I'll turn and face you. So it ends up parallel. These two arms are like train tracks going parallel behind you. Have a look at how I do it from the front. Turn and chop. Turn and drop. The left hand, the right hand to the hip joint. The left hand lifts. The left hand folds. And they both parallel palm down to the corner. When I turn back, this one folds here. And this one folds by dropping. They're like windscreen wipers connected to the turning of the body. Here, as I turn, they both fold. Step. This hand is in the right position because as my body turns, it naturally comes to my left thigh. This hand, as it sinks and my body turns, it naturally comes forward. So it's already in front of the shoulder or in front of the body. It's just going to drop into this position. And as I square, it comes into the right position, which is in the center, height of the throat, one span from the body, same as the push position. Let's try it together. White crane spreads wings, turn and chop. Turn, drop the right hand to the hip joint, lift the left, keep turning and both go palm down behind you, straight. Turn back and fold, one fist from the ear with the right, protecting the groin with the left, step with the left, glide in, turn the waist and drop into the posture. Brush left knee to a step. I just want to see what time we've got. Great. Let's go through the whole of the form. We'll add that bit at the end. Always coming back to that quiet place where we feel settled in ourselves. When we do a new move, a new posture, it brings us into the thinking brain, the left-hand side of the brain. Can I do this? Can I remember? We want to kind of let that all percolate and find that place where we're just resting in our body, because the Tai Chi wants to come from the body sensations, not from the thinking mind. So we let ourselves return. Settle. Every single move finishes with the body settling. Settle. Flow on. Settle. Flow on. Settle. Flow on. Sink and settle. Flow on. Find the center, stable position, and settle and flow on. Sink and settle. Flow on. Sink and settle on the left leg. Turn. Keep turning to lift the left arm. Turn and fold back at the elbow. Step and sink and settle into the posture. Turn the hips to move on to the right foot. Look at my left heels come off the ground. All my weight's on the right. Turn. Lift, draw in the toes, sink. Push out the ball of the left and settle. Turn and chop. Turn, dropping the right hand to the hip joint, the left hand lifts. Keep turning and lift the right arm, parallel behind. Turn back and fold the arms. Take a step. Glide into the 50-50 and settle. Can I have a look at your postures of, whoops, that wasn't good, dropped everything there. The whole iPad fell off the table there. It wasn't very Tai Chi, was it? Can I see your posture? White crane spreads wings facing me, please. So white crane spreads wings. This one with the right hand up, all the weight on the right leg, the left thumb on the thigh, no weight in the ball of the left foot. Nice upright posture over the foot. You want a nice round arm, not a small but big. Like we're just waving at somebody. Upright and balanced, great. Okay, so to chop, okay, to chop. So Janice, don't have your elbow too pointed. Try and open that out. Yeah, so it feels a bit more rounder rather than pointed elbow. Try and open it out. That's much better. That looks great. To turn and chop, remember we're chopping with the little finger edge of the hand down. Turn the waist. Do it with the waist. Turn the hips. Turn around your center line to chop. And the chop stays quite high. Remember, it's to someone's neck, so it stays high. It's not all the way down here. It stays quite high. So all that's really happening, if you look at my arm, all that's really happening is the hands going around the ball. Chop. Good. And then as you turn, halfway turn, just do your right arm. Your right arm drops palm up onto your hip joint. And then as you fully turn open, it lifts palm up behind you. So the right hand drops to your hip and then lifts palm up behind you. And the body's turning the whole time that move takes place. One smooth movement from the chop onwards, one smooth movement down with the arm and up with the arm. And as you turn back, it folds. I just want to have a look at that movement. See how you're getting on with that. I'm going to put us on unmute everybody. And then if there's any questions, just briefly before we finish, we can have a little look at that. Everyone's on mute. Carry on doing it. I just want to have a look. Make sure everyone's, just keep doing it again and again. Shake out the leg if you need to. So Anne, when you, after the chop, drop your right hand all the way to your hip joint. Down and up. Yeah, palm up onto the hip joint. So the little edge finger of the hand is on the crease of the hip joint.
Okay.
Here. And then up. So when I teach Tai Chi, there are kind of like these, it's like doing a dot the dot puzzle. When you join all the dots, you get the right shape coming. You don't just want your hands kind of to go anywhere they can. You want them to kind of clearly go through these particular points in space, and then you get the coordination of the whole body following the flow of the center. Good. Looking better. Yeah. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah, good. Sue, try not to turn too far behind, right? So remember, when you turn, it's just to the corner. So from facing 9 o'clock, when you turn open, you're just turning to 10:30, and then turning back, then stepping, and the next move is facing 9 o'clock again. So yeah, 9 o'clock again.
Yeah, good. Okay. So David, when you turn back, let this one fold in. Yeah. That's it. And try and keep the arm a little bit looser so it's kind of just really loose in the elbow so that it just folds in like a windscreen wiper. Yeah, great. Good. Okay. So looking good. When we teach Tai Chi, obviously it's like A, B, C, D, and you do this, then you do that, and then you do that. It's a little bit technical. Go over the video when I send it to you, and that'll be your homework to learn that new posture until in your mind, you know what you're doing in the posture, right? When you know where things should go, then you can start to work with the flow of it, the coordination of how you move, and the feeling of it. So whenever we get a new move, it's really complicated because you've got left hand, right hand turning of the body, and you've got to be centered. All those things are complicated. Make sure you learn the choreography first. Where's the left hand? Where's the right hand? When do I turn? How does it move? When that becomes, yeah, I've got that, then you can work with the kind of the feeling of it and the sway of it, and the Tai Chi quality can come into it. So the first thing is getting the accuracy in the movement, understanding the shape of the postures, and then understanding how your whole body can move as one unit rather than these individual little bits. Because what we want is we want our whole body and our mind to come together as one expression, right? When we're thinking of our hands, it's 2 expressions. And when we're thinking of something else, it's 3, 4, 5. And after so many, we can't hold it anymore. But as a feeling and a sensation, we can do the whole lot as one movement. That's what we're aiming towards. Great. Good. I'm going to have to leave you.
Okay.
Got another class to do. Thanks for coming. Any questions, email me and I'll email you the recording as soon as I can.
Thanks, Luke. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Bye for now.
Cheers, Luke.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.